Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the former mayor of New Orleans recognizes the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. And Governor Andy Beshear talked about safety in places of worship following Wednesday's shooting in Minnesota.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday to you, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here on this August 29th. It is just about 5 o'clock this morning, and time to check on in with meteorologist Eric Dean for a look at that forecast. A little bit of those chilly starts, but I think today might be where we hit the 80s again.
You know, Amelia, I heard a saying, the colder it is, the happier you are.
Oh, so true.
You know, we had the 40s and 50s the past couple of days. We're seeing temperatures right now in the 50s, even 60s. We're seeing a temperature of 60 in Manchester, 59 in Irvine, 55 the Double Nichols in Somerset, 54 in Hazard. Pikeville, good morning to you. You had a morning low of 59. 52 is the current temperature near Paintsville. You can see that feels like temperature of 52 right now. We're seeing temperatures in the 50s, even low 60s. 60 in Prestonsburg, 61 in Monticello. All is quiet right now on live pinpoint Doppler radar. We are seeing a few little false returns being picked up. That's typical for this time of morning. If you have plans today, not bad at all. We'll see plenty of sunshine. Temperatures will make their way into the mid 70s by noon, upper 70s and low 80s as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. Now, we need some rain. Do we have rain chances in the forecast? I'll have that coming up in the first alert forecast in a few minutes. For right now, it is 5 o'clock on the dot. We'll send it back to Amelia.
Congressman Andy Barr met with veterans at an event in Richmond yesterday. Barr spoke of issues with veterans' medical care, to tariffs, and the state of the national military. He says recent actions in Washington have benefited vets, but some vets tell us more is needed. WYMT's Phil Pendleton was at the event.
U.S. Defense Department.
Congressman Andy Barr told a packed room of veterans in Richmond that changes to the Veterans Administration have led to more disability benefits and claims being processed faster.
I think you're seeing morale rise, you're seeing recruitment interest increase, and you're seeing retention rates skyrocket.
He says there's been a lot of reorganization, some of it DOGE and part of it the federal spending bill, but he says it's benefited veterans.
And what we have seen is that in a reduction of non-mission critical employees and a focusing on health care and disability claims, the real mission of the VA, guess what? Performance and results have improved.
Some veterans say they are deeply concerned with the impact of the big, beautiful bill. Some veterans say they believe it's doing more harm than good, especially within the VA. Bud Andrews is a retired U.S. Army Special Forces veteran who says veterans are scared about their future.
He supported the big ugly bill, and I think it's going to hurt a lot of people.
Andrews claims cuts to the VA are hurting people who have been there decades.
I see appointments getting stretched out. Instead of every 6 months, it might be every 7 or 8 months.
And I think most veterans that I've interacted with, they appreciate a refocusing of the mission of the VA on the core job of the VA, which is to take care of veterans, not trying to advance a political agenda.
Some veterans acknowledge hard work for them, but they say more help for everyone is needed. In Madison County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Barr says he's worked to have Veterans Coalition meetings about 4 times a year since he was elected to Congress in 2013. Well, today marks the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina making landfall in Louisiana, one of the deadliest and costliest storms in U.S. history. Early yesterday, former mayor of New Orleans, Mitch Landrieu, spoke at the SOAR Summit in Corbin. He shared the similarities he sees between Louisiana and Kentucky, as both states have suffered from natural disasters. He says it's the people, not just the plans, that make a difference when moving forward.
You gotta just go through the pain, and you gotta choose. You have to make a choice not to let it hold you back. We saw this in New Orleans, and it takes a while because it can really be depressing early on, because it's really hard because you lose faith in your institutions, you lose faith that people want there to help you. You just got to stick with it, and if you can't find a way, you just need to make one.
Today is the last day of the SOAR Summit, and more special guests, including Governor Andy Beshear and Congressman Hal Rogers, will be speaking. Well, Governor Andy Beshear had a Team Kentucky briefing in Frankfort yesterday. During his update, the governor announced applications are available for more than $2 million in federal funding through the Violence Against Women Act. It's designed to help prevent sexual assault and domestic violence, among other things. The governor also announced 3 more counties in our area as recovery-ready communities. Those were Clay, Letcher, and Owsley counties. 31 counties in total throughout the state have now been certified as recovery-ready communities for having established services available for those seeking help for drug or alcohol addiction. This morning, we are learning more about the Minneapolis church shooting that took the lives of 2 young children and injured 18 others. Police say the shooter, identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman, couldn't even see the hundreds of students and staff inside the church as bullets shattered the stained glass windows. At the scene, they found about 116 rifle rounds, 3 shotgun shells, and a live handgun round that police believe jammed in the chamber 3 legally purchased guns.
The shooter expressed hate towards almost every group imaginable. The shooter idolized some of the most notorious school shooters and mass murderers in our country's history.
In this search for answers, police say they're combing through hundreds of journal pages from the suspect that they describe as disturbing and full of hate. Investigators are also examining the suspect's electronic devices. Yesterday, Governor Andy Beshear talked about safety in places of worship following that tragic shooting. Beshear says an anti-Semitism task force was formed after several threats made towards houses of worship. Now the group is going all over the state talking about safety. The governor says he wishes Kentucky had a red flag law like Florida, which allows law enforcement and family members to petition a court to temporarily remove firearms from people who pose a danger to themselves.
We trust courts to determine someone's freedom and incarcerate them. If they've broken the law, we trust our courts to determine the custody of our kids. Surely, we can entrust them, an institution that is designed to interpret the Constitution, to protect the Second Amendment while also stepping in and preventing murder when we know it's going to happen and law enforcement can stop it. But until we see some of those, we've got to look at the safety, typically the physical safety of all of these facilities and how we can take that next step and the step after.
Beshear also says no parent should have to go through the pain and suffering that the Minnesota families are feeling right now. Well, a new interim CDC director has been selected after President Donald Trump fired his previous pick to lead the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Jim O'Neill has been chosen as the interim CDC director. A former tech investor, O'Neill currently serves as Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., just before the announcement, said he wants to change the department's institutional culture.
They're going to be able to accomplish that and ensure the competent functionality of that agency.
Acting Director O'Neill previously had posts under the George W. Bush administration serving the Department of Health and Human Services. He also has worked as a biotech investor. Well, thank you so much for getting your day started with us on Mountain News this morning at 5:07. A mom in Georgia is transforming her heartbreak into hope, helping other families with newborns in the NICU.